the solar system is not waiting for you with open arms. It is hostile, brutal, and designed to kill you in 1,000 different ways. You've probably looked up at the night sky and dreamed of exploring space. The planets, the moons, the stars. It all looks so mysterious, so majestic, so inviting. Today, we're going to travel from planet to planet, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you would die on each one. From the almost survivable to the absolute nightmare. And by the end, you'll understand just how incredibly lucky we are to be here. Let's start with Mars. And I have to warn you, this is the planet that will give you the most false hope. It looks like a desert. It has mountains, canyons, seasons. It rotates at almost the same speed as Earth. You might almost think, okay, maybe I could manage. Here's the reality. The atmospheric pressure on Mars is 160 times lower than on Earth. If you remove your helmet, your saliva and tears instantly evaporate. The blood in your lungs begins to boil, not because it's hot, but because the pressure is so low that liquids vaporize at room temperature. Average temperature? Minus 60 degrees Celsius. And at night, it can drop to minus 125. But that's not even the worst part. Mars has almost no magnetic field. That invisible shield that protects us on Earth from cosmic radiation? On Mars, it simply doesn't exist. Within months, solar radiation would irreversibly damage your DNA. Cancer, cellular mutations, degeneration. And on top of all that, dust storms can blanket the entire planet for months, blocking out all sunlight. Mars wouldn't kill you in a second. It would kill you slowly. And somehow, that's worse. The Moon. Just 384,000 kilometers away. Humans have already been there. It almost feels reassuring. Think again. The Moon has no atmosphere, zero, which means there's nothing to absorb sunlight during the day or hold heat in at night. Sunlit side, plus 130 degrees Celsius. Dark side, minus 170 degrees. And those extremes can follow each other within hours depending on where you stand. But here's the detail that truly unsettled me. Without an atmosphere, nothing slows down incoming meteorites. On Earth, rocks falling from the sky burn up as they pass through the air. On the Moon, they arrive at full speed, constantly, silent and invisible. And that silence, it's total. You would literally hear nothing. No sound travels through a vacuum. You would die in absolute stillness. Venus, the brightest planet in the night sky, almost the same size as Earth, almost the same gravity. The ancients called it the morning star. It's even been described as Earth's twin sister. It is arguably the most deceptive planet in the solar system. The atmospheric pressure on the surface of Venus is 92 times greater than on Earth. That's the equivalent of being 900 meters deep in the ocean. Your body would be crushed within seconds before you even had time to process what was happening. Surface temperature? 465 degrees Celsius, constantly, day and night. That's hotter than Mercury, which is twice as close to the Sun. Why? The greenhouse effect. Venus's atmosphere is saturated with CO2, trapping heat to an absolutely extreme degree. And those clouds that cover the planet and give it that brilliant glow, they're made of concentrated sulfuric acid. It rains acid on Venus. The rain never reaches the ground. It evaporates in the scorching atmosphere before it gets there, but it exists. Venus is literally a vision of hell dressed up as paradise. Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system. So massive it could fit 1,300 Earths inside it. Here's something strange. Jupiter has no solid surface. If you approached in a spacecraft and started descending into its atmosphere, you would fall indefinitely. The atmosphere gets denser and denser. Gaseous hydrogen slowly transforms into liquid hydrogen, then into something resembling liquid metal. Pressure and heat increase with every kilometer. You'd be compressed, dissolved, melted. There's no ground to crash into. You would simply disappear into the planet. And during your fall, you'd be struck by lightning. Lightning 1,000 times more powerful than anything on Earth. Continuous, relentless. The Great Red Spot, that storm twice the size of Earth, has been raging for at least 350 years. Winds at 600 kilometers per hour, a storm that never stops. Jupiter doesn't kill you with violence. It simply absorbs you, as if you never existed. Saturn, the ringed planet, probably the most beautiful object in the entire solar system. When you see it through a telescope for the first time, it almost doesn't look real, like someone placed a sticker in the sky. And yet, Saturn might be the most deceptively deadly planet of all. Like Jupiter, Saturn has no solid surface. You'd fall through its atmosphere indefinitely, compressed, dissolved, gone. Same fate, different planet. But Saturn has something Jupiter doesn't, those rings. From a distance, they look smooth and serene. In reality, they're made of billions of chunks of ice and rock, some the size of a grain of sand, others the size of a house, all hurtling at speeds of up to 70,000 kilometers per hour. Getting anywhere near the rings would be like flying into a shotgun blast at orbital velocity. Every particle, a bullet, in every direction, forever. And the winds on Saturn make Jupiter look calm. Up to 1,800 kilometers per hour near the equator. That's 5 times the speed of sound on Earth. Saturn's North Pole has a permanent hexagonal storm, a geometric hurricane the size of 2 Earths that has been spinning for decades. Scientists still don't fully understand why it's hexagonal. The most beautiful planet in the solar system, the one that makes people gasp when they see it. It would kill you before you even got close enough to appreciate it. For this last stop before the final revelation, we're not visiting a planet, we're visiting a moon, Io, Jupiter's moon, and it's probably the most violent place in the entire solar system. Io is the most volcanically active body we've ever discovered. Its surface is covered in hundreds of active volcanoes. Sulfur geysers shoot more than 500 kilometers into the sky, roughly the distance from Paris to London, projected straight up. But why so many volcanoes? Io is caught between Jupiter's colossal gravity and that of its other large moons. These titanic forces constantly compress and stretch it, like kneading a rubber ball. This gravitational kneading generates so much internal heat that the entire surface is in a state of constant melting. Io's surface rises and falls by 100 meters under the pull of these tides. The ground beneath your feet would breathe like a living thing. Lava lakes, sulfur rain, a shifting ground, and Jupiter's overwhelming silhouette hanging in the sky. There is no place on Io where you would survive more than a few seconds. We've made the full journey. Mars slowly irradiating you, the moon exposing you to the void, Venus crushing and burning you in acid, Jupiter absorbing you into its depths, Io incinerating you under its geysers. The solar system is hell. But there's one planet we haven't mentioned, Earth. An atmosphere that filters radiation, a magnetic field that deflects solar particles, a perfect pressure, a temperature range where water stays liquid, a moon that stabilizes our axial tilt, sparing us from catastrophic climate swings. If Jupiter were slightly less massive, giant asteroids would bombard Earth constantly. It acts as a gravitational shield for us. If we were 5% closer to the Sun, we'd be Venus. 5% further away, we'd be Mars. We sit inside what scientists call the habitable zone, the narrow window where conditions allow life to exist. This isn't magic. It isn't design. It's physics, chemistry, and an accumulation of coincidences so precise they make your head spin. The next time you look up at the stars, remember this. The universe wasn't made for us, but somehow we managed to exist in it anyway. And that is extraordinary. The one thing in the solar system that makes everything else look tame. The sun. You already know it's hot, but let me give you the actual numbers because they're genuinely hard to process. The surface of the sun, what we call the photosphere, sits at around 5,500 degrees Celsius, hot enough to vaporize any known material instantly. You wouldn't burn, you wouldn't melt, you would simply cease to exist as a solid object. But here's the thing that baffles scientists to this day. The corona, the outer atmosphere of the sun that you can see during a total solar eclipse, is over 1 million degrees Celsius. 1 million. That's nearly 200 times hotter than the surface directly below it. Think about that. Imagine standing next to a fire, and the air 1 meter above the flames is 200 times hotter than the fire itself. It makes no physical sense. And we still don't have a complete explanation for why it happens. Every second, the sun converts 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium through nuclear fusion. Every single second. It releases more energy in 1 second than humanity has consumed in its entire history. And you wouldn't even need to touch it. The sun's radiation would start destroying your body from millions of kilometers away, long before you ever got close. The sun doesn't just kill you, it erases you. If this video made your head spin, then it worked. Drop a comment with the planet that surprised you the most. Subscribe if you want to keep exploring the universe with me. The next video is going to show you something even stranger and even closer to home.